She woke up early with the sun, breathed, emptied herself, had breakfast, took medicine, showered, slept a little, woke up, wrote in her diary, spoke as little as possible in group therapy, had lunch, watched some TV. Sometimes she read a book, took a walk in the courtyard, around and around in a Ouroboros, emptied herself again, lay down when it got dark, and it got dark as if someone turned off the switch in Macedonia. She looked out through the bars at the stars. Sometimes when she saw something flicker, she thought that it was Aya, she who fell asleep, dreamt a nightmare that woke her up, mostly about how bots shot her family. No one there, fell asleep again, woke up with the sun. That's how the days went, and for Varya it was the first time in her life that she had a routine. She found some pleasure in telling her story, and she tore out the pages she wanted to save and hid them under the mattress so that they could not use what she had written against her. The doctors no longer offered virtual reality therapy, for they knew she would decline. Sometimes she thought of the people who took a cyanide pill without reading the packaging and jumped into the holoverse, who chose the imitation of what life could be, who could not stand the real thing, the people she couldn't save or whom she could save. The more the medications kicked in and dulled or polished her thoughts like sandpaper, the less she cared. Soon routine was all she kept. Wake up, empty herself, eat, write, sleep. One day the doctor came and told her that she was ready to be discharged. When? Tomorrow. Already? You've been here for 3 months. Yes, but still. You decide for yourself. She sat and looked out through the bars, waiting for Nautilus' signal that never came. The stars were also not visible with the smog and chemicals that lay like a halo of death over Skopje. She was ready to meet him. It was something she had to do first. She needed to make a call. Old telephone with cord and rotary dial. She gathered her courage and dialed the number. An old man's voice, hoarse and cracked by thousands of cigarettes. Hello? She was discharged on a Thursday in May 2024. She had never felt so happy to see all the people on their way somewhere in a city where time had stood still since that morning in 1963 when the earth shook under their feet. It was fascinating to see people without HoloLenses, as if they all had a purpose or goal or were going somewhere, talking to each other. She passed the hospital where she had not yet been born. The same place where her mother and father and grandfather and grandmother and grandmother and grandfather were born. The smell of cigarettes, the mixture of real tobacco and the machine scrapings they pressed into sheep, paper, the new parents with their babies in carriages trying to find a taxi, Vodno behind her, the neon cross and the radio mast with its red eye watching over the people. Here and there she saw some young people walking around staring into the air as if they were completely out of it, and there were probably some beta testing the holoverse, but otherwise Skopje was one of the few cities in Europe that survived gentrification, franchising, and where people occasionally still took the time to do nothing and solve the world's problems at a kafana with a rakia and a few friends. The rest of the population walked around with their black plastic boxes in their hands and talked or texted or collected information from Manolevski on how to reach them all in what would evolve into the vanity algorithm. She thought of Damian, who was not yet born and who was dead in another time. She felt in her jacket pocket and her fingers touched the Polaroid. Wasn't this just like in a movie she had seen? When she took it out, she saw that the picture was now of Manolevski, Claudia and Aya standing there instead of her father.